Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Loki Kia in Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? I have that one mid-size sportback sedan that is really going to be missed once they're gone at the end of this year. This is it. This is a 2023 Kia Stinger. This particular one is a GT line, but before we get into this Panthera metal, that's what they call this gray color. Love that name, Panthera metal Stinger GT line. Let's talk about what's going on here. Mid-size sedans, they're really changing in the market. And once upon a time, they used to be plentiful. Now the list gets narrow and more narrow as time goes on. What's fascinating is that the Stinger really was that revolutionary vehicle that Kia came out with back in 2018 that woke up the auto industry to what they could do with style, amenities, and of course, drivability. Now, what's fascinating about the GT line and just the Stinger in period is that it's a rear-wheel drive mid-size sedan. That's another type of vehicle that you got to step up, usually to the German Euro brands, to get that drivability. But what I want to find out is, with it being the last year, with this being a GT line, would you go the new Honda Accord? Because remember, the previous generation of the Honda Accord with the detuned Type R motor was pretty peppy, but they did a redesign and they made some changes. So for the money, would you go with this Stinger GT line, or are you gonna go with that new Honda Accord? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our Stinger GT line and find out. Right off the bat, it still looks fairly fresh when it comes to the exterior styling. The way they did the headlights, there was a refresh 2 years ago. They changed up the daytime running lamps. Love the way they did that setup with your LED headlights and your cluster of those turn signals, like a bunch of killer bees. Working our way down, you have these massive corner air intakes, fully functional. I like the way they did the silver trim on that vertical setup. Little bit of gloss black, and everything is sculpted very nicely, almost like it came right out of an Italian car studio. Now, when we come across the front grille, that is the perfect idea of the Tiger Nose Grille. Tiger Nose Grille, love the black chrome finish. You got the new Kia badge, all the little silver elements, and then working your way down, you do have more functionality on the bottom portion. My one zonk is gonna be these fake vents that they have that could be perfect for some brake cooling. You do have dark chrome along the lower lip, and then they even do a little bit of flat black on the underside for that arrow. But definitely, like I said, from the front, it's still looking pretty darn good. Let me know what you think of the style compared to the Honda Accord. Honda Accord's looking a little different for the new model year. Now, as we rise up, same hood, same fake hood vents. I like the way they gave it the style. I just wish they would have just made those little guys a little functional. But other than that, it's got the sharp style. And like I said, Honda Accord, they got rid of the detuned Type R motor, and it's only front wheel drive. This is rear wheel drive, or you could also get all wheel drive. So think about that. Coming around the bend, what are we working with wheel and tire setup? When they did the refresh, they also refreshed the wheels. 18-inch wheel, Y-spoke design, machined aluminum gloss black, 225 on the width, 45 series sidewall. I think they look really sharp with this setup. Let me know how you feel about the wheels, especially compared to the new Honda Accord. Working our way down, we got some more dark chrome on that fender vent, and I'm gonna have Steven swing around. That's a functional fender vent. Not finding that on a Honda Accord, that's for sure. We got the dark chrome finish on the mirror caps with our LED turn signals. Dark metalwork only along the top. This particular one does not have a sunroof, but it's got that sportback design. And I'm telling you, that right there is really what brings the looks and the style to this vehicle, is just that sexy roof line into the rear. We swing it around back. I love the way it's got that nice wide flared fender. Kind of weird how they did these ladyfinger DOT required reflectors. I wish they could have done something a little different with that, but boy oh boy, did they knock it out of the park with the LED lighting on the tail. You got your GT line badge. Got rid of the Kia badge and just put Stinger in that nice Italian script. And then working our way down, We do get a quad exhaust that is functional. You have decorative trim rings with some fake vent. I am gonna zonk it, but the rear diffuser is really screaming race car to me and looks so darn good. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk horsepower of the GT line. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood, you're gonna find an engine that's set up for rear wheel drive, something you're not gonna find under the hood of a Honda Accord. But you do have your aluminum bracing up front to stiffen up the front end. Tasteful engine cover, but under that engine cover, what do we have? It's a 2.5 liter inline 4 turbocharged engine putting out 300 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. MPGs, 22 in the city, 32 on the highway, and the car weighs right around 3,500 pounds. Now remember, if this is not enough power for you, you could spend more and go twin turbo V6, but I'm trying to keep it price point the same as a new Honda Accord. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up and see it go. All right guys, we are inside this 2023 Kia Stinger GT line. I know you're saying to yourself, well Joe, I always thought I wanted to get a Stinger. I just never jumped on it because I was so worried about it being a Kia. Lots of my friends have Kias now and their vehicles are driving fine, so I'm not really impressed with the new Accord, but I am still liking this Stinger GT line. How much is it? MSRP for this particular one is right at $38,000. Let's see how it stacks up to the Accord. To the door panels. I love the European style in this thing. It really just blows your mind. The contrast stitching, soft touch materials. There is a bit of gloss black, but you're not really gonna touch it. What's up there is one of the tweeters for the sound system. Silver trim on the door handle that flows into the armrest. Door pocket is on the small side. Go with 2 double cheeseburgers, a large fry, and a strawberry milkshake. That's Steven's favorite. Now going from the door panel to the dash, same thing. The stitching looks great, soft touch material. You slide on in, what do we have? We got a 10.25 inch infotainment system. Now you can get a 12.3 inch in a new Accord, but I don't know if it's enough to win me over and go the Accord route. This infotainment system is so intuitive, very easy to use. You could go into your home screen, you got all your different apps. Nice quick sliding response to it. I throw it in reverse, backup camera. It's good, it's not fantastic, but guess what? It's pretty much on par with the Honda Accord, and you have the sensing technology behind you. Put it back into park and we're right back where we started. I love the aeronautical AC vents, very Mercedes-Benz-esque. You do have your dual climate control, which is nice. And then you do have some gloss black, but the good news is you're gonna open that up because that's where you have your wireless charging, USB-A, and a 12 volt. This thing that looks like it powers an F-16 fighter jet is gonna control your 8-speed automatic, no CVT or anything like that. 2 cup holders. You do have your Kia key fob. I like the older one better. It looked like a bomb detonator. This one sort of just looks like a Zippo or something like that, but you do have remote start, which is nice. You got your different drive modes. I'll show you more of that when you come to the business end. And you do have 3 stages of heated seats. No ventilated seats at this price point, and I'm okay with that. You have a little Twinkie tray for your Twinkie. Open this up, look at this. You got, of course, a place where you could put your little marble collection. And then down in here, you could easily put, I would say, a fully loaded Chipotle burrito. So get the guac, even though guac costs extra, you can ask for double rice and not get charged more. So that's a little fun tip. If you're really hungry and you're at Chipotle, ask for double rice and they will give you double at no charge. That's a little tip from me to you here on Rady's Rides, of course. Flip it down, seats. Got the GT line name. I gotta successfully close this, Steven, I'm sorry. GT line name, the stitching, nice bolstering. You do have, of course, manual controls for the passenger. But for the driver, I have 8-way adjustable power seats, and this particular model does not have a sunroof. But why don't you go over to the business end? I got a flat bottom steering wheel that I want to show you in this Stinger. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel of the GT line. I do like the nice pedal box. Aluminum dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle. There's your electric seat controls, easy to get to. I'm 6 feet tall, and they really organized the Stinger very, very well. Steering wheel, right out of a race car. The flat bottom, the 2 different types of leather, perforated and smooth. You got the GT line badge, the new Kia badge, flat black on the switchgear, paddles for the 8-speed automatic. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you have your instrumentation. LED backlit gauges with a small 5-inch display that you could scroll through, a mini cornucopia of information. And then you also have your different drive modes, which show up right in the center there, from custom, sport, comfort, eco, and smart. They got you covered every which way from Sunday. Other than that, same as it's been since 2018, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. Let's go ahead though, let's get in the back seat and see how this stacks up to the Accord. All right, guys, back seat time. And even though the Accord has a lot of room, this has a lot of room as well. Plus you got such that sexy roof line, and you still got plenty of headroom in here. Remember, I'm 6 feet tall. I feel good. I am gonna zonk the cargo nets. That's really gonna cause a mess back here when you put your big old New York calzone and the net starts to cut right into the bread of the calzone, and you get mozzarella all over the floor. That's gonna be messy. So that's why I have to zonk the cargo nets. You do get 2 rear AC vents, and you get a 12-volt and a USB-A. So they got you covered there. Love the way that the seat kind of angles back just a little bit for your passenger's pleasure. And then you flip this down. Basically what they did was they took a brick and they wrapped it in this leather material, and that's what it feels like. So it's not very soft, but it's a nice place to put your arm to just rest it, and then you have your 2 cup holders. But why don't we get in the back and see how much cargo we have in this sporty Stinger. All right, guys, this is one of my favorite parts of any Stinger, is that sport back design. You hit the button, you do have to manually lift it on the GT line, but it really is not that big of a deal. What is a big deal is the large amount of room there. I mean, that will make some SUVs jealous how much room we have. So what do we got? With the seats up, you have 23.3 cubic feet of space. With the seats down, which is a 60-40 split, it's almost 40 cubic feet of space. What I do love as well is you have nooks on both sides for a couple boxes of Twinkies, and underneath you do get a spare. So a lot of vehicles getting rid of the spare. We have a spare on this Stinger GT line, but you know what? It's not about the spare. It's not even about the space. This is rear-wheel drive. Let's go on throttle and see how it feels in this Stinger. All right, guys, we are in this 2023 Kia Stinger GT line. I do have it in sport mode, and since there's no sunroof, I wanted to angle the camera this way so that you could see what it's like to sit behind the wheel of this Stinger GT line. Easy to get to that 10.25-inch screen. Gauges, even though it's not a full digital display like you could get on a Honda Accord, still very easy to read, and I do like the backlit LED gauges. Headroom in here is just fine, and I'm 6 feet tall. And the fact, like I said, that it's rear-wheel drive. Not a lot of rear-wheel drive sedans at this price point. In sport mode, just like always, that's gonna adjust the steering feel and sensitivity, throttle sensitivity, and how the engine and the transmission behave with one another. And you're definitely gonna get a sportier feel and vibe inside this Stinger GT line compared to the new Accord. Even if you go with the Accord Sport, it doesn't feel very sporty anymore. Visibility out the back glass, even though it's sharply angled, super clear, and I love the size of the side mirrors. They give you great visibility as well. There's plenty of mirror real estate there. But let's see how we do on throttle wise as we pull out here. On throttle, here we go. Nice, nice. So fun to drive. You know, it's fun, of course, to drive the twin turbo V6 Stinger, the Stinger GT, but this GT line since they revised it and gave it 300 horsepower, they really did pep things up quite a bit. The 8-speed is very, very competent and shifts very quickly, and you can use those paddles mounted right behind the steering wheel. But it's one of those vehicles that definitely has that more driver-focused experience. Yes, you're gonna get better MPGs in a Honda Accord. Yes, it has a little bit better technology with the digital display and the larger infotainment system, but one thing it can't match is how this thing drives, and it is a lot of fun. Even when you're doing your normal commute, it just makes things interesting, and I really can appreciate that. And it's sad that the car is going away. Seats are very, very supportive, especially for the driver's seat being fully electric assist. And the fact that we have wireless charging, USBs up front and in the rear, plus rear AC. There's a lot of cars not coming with that stuff anymore, even though it costs more than $38,000 for this Stinger GT line. But I love the visibility out the windshield. The A-pillars are very far apart, and it just feels more like a coupe in a good way. Not a cramped way, in a good way. Very quiet in the cabin. I'm glad they didn't just pump in a bunch of fake sound into the speakers and stuff. And we're gonna go on throttle again here. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. Nice. So, having that rear wheel drive, it's a more engaging experience rather than it being front wheel drive. And the fact that, you know, you're able to get this in rear wheel drive, or if you want all wheel drive, you can get a GT line in all wheel drive as well. But I just love how comfortable and just how it feels way more expensive than what it is. Brakes feel great. The gauges are so easy to read. And just, you know, like I said, the materials in here, even though it never really received the redesign that it deserved, like the Telluride, when they came out with the Telluride and all the fancy touches in that, it still feels really good in here. I wish there was a sunroof at $38,000 price point, but other than that, it still checks off so many boxes, especially the on throttle box. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. Look at that. Nice. I'm telling you, the shifts are fantastic in this thing. And you can see how in sport mode, it holds a gear. It holds a gear so you can go right back on throttle without the transmission dropping down. I like that. And if you don't want to be in sport mode, we could go into comfort. And then it just drops the revs. So now we're cruising on the highway, super smooth, very relaxed, very comfortable, and we're turning about 1,700 RPM. But I truly am gonna miss the Stinger. It is one of those cars that really, I think, put Kia on the map more than what the other vehicles have, and really opened people's eyes, especially to the driving dynamics. That's where this car really shines. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of this Stinger GT line. We're gonna get back to Loki Kia and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another crazy day here at Loki Kia. Definitely got to thank Robert, Danny, and the rest of the crew getting us access to their very last, this is it, their very last Kia Stinger GT line. Let me know what you think. For the cash, for the cheddar, are you going to go GT line or are you going to go Honda Accord? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Of course, we need to give it up Stephen Flood Photography. Follow him on Instagram. He's trying to get to that 10,000 follower mark. Let's make it happen for him. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.